we are live, so we're good to go. Hello, everybody. This is Cordovan, Community Manager for Dungeons & Dragons Online. Here this week for our weekly live stream on twitch.tv/DDOstream. Don't forget to follow us if you want to be notified when we're going live, because we're not just streaming live on Wednesdays, although we do that every Wednesday starting at noon Eastern, -4 GMT. But we're also going to be streaming live when we go into Lamania, sometimes later in the week and on weekends, and just whenever we have something to say or feel like it. So if you want to give us a follow on twitch.tv, you do need to create an account for that. You can opt in to get notified through email or whatever method you prefer of when we go live. So we're on Cannith this week. This will be our final chapter on Cannith for this initial round of all the tour of all the servers. Last time around, which was actually 2 weeks ago, we couldn't do this live stream last week because we had some downtime at the time. But 2 weeks ago, we started with the Deception and Stormreach chain, the Eye of Stone, Capstone, and related quests. And this week, we're going to continue that with our Attack on Stormreach chain. So we'll be probably at least running Attack on Summerfield here, perhaps Blockade Buster, and perhaps Undermine. And maybe even the Capstone, although I doubt we'll have time for all that stuff in the hour we have for lunch, but we'll see what happens. Still running the same kind of gimped but whatever character that I created for the last stream here. It's a Favored Soul cleric, or not Favored Soul, rather iconic Morning Lord cleric and rogue hybrid. I was just kind of playing around with the idea of trying to make that work, and I think we learned here this stream that, well, you can make it work, but it's not, the roguiness is maybe not quite where it needs to be. But, yeah, it's fun anyway, so we're just going to roll with it, so. Oh, yeah. Oh, you can see. Hey, this is Athena Peters here. Appreciate you being on the show here this week, so,
Thanks for showing up. Thanks for watching.
Yep. Let's see, we're going to get our LFM going. I suppose I should probably do that right now. Let's attack on Stormreach. Live streaming on twitch.tv/DDOstream. Let's see, what should I do the levels here? 13 to 17 seems fine. We can pretty much go with whatever we want to do here. Alright. There we go. Welcome. Welcome. And yes, we will have turbine points here. Let's see. If I have iconics, I can put something together for this. Video's still looking good, thanks. Glad to hear that the video's looking good. We have it up to 720 here right now, so hopefully that'll not crash everyone's bandwidth concerns. But let me know if you're running into problems. Like I say, we're testing out these various things here, so it's good to see what we can do. Welcome. Like I said, I mentioned earlier, I do have a little bit of a cold this week, so my voice is maybe not quite where it needs to be, unfortunately. One of those combinations of perhaps allergies and what have you, but no. Alright, so let's see, what do we got going on here in the chat room? Welcome everybody. If you got some questions for me, don't hesitate to put it into chat. I may not be able to answer you right away, but I am keeping an eye on the chat here. And we'll see what I can answer this week on our live stream. Up next, we did have some downtime recently. We're planning to get update 22 onto Lamania as soon as we can. We don't have an exact time frame for that. We can expect within probably the next certainly within the next couple of weeks, we'll probably have something on Lamania here for you to take an initial look at what's available on Update 22. How much is available right away? That all kind of depends on how things go in the next week or so. But you can look forward to that very much. We also can look forward to a guild bonus this weekend. We're kicking off kind of a ramp up to Update 22, which features some big changes to guild airships and guilds. And so we're going to be doing some guild bonuses in the coming weeks here, and you can find out more about that. I think starting tomorrow we'll probably announce our first guild bonus. We do actually have Crystal Cove coming fairly soon. We're not ready, unfortunately, to announce exactly when that's coming yet, but you can expect that to be coming pretty soon. And yeah, that's it. So we got Update 22, Crystal Cove, guild bonuses. some really good stuff in the works. So hopefully when we do get to Lamania here as well, we'll be able to do some live streaming there and show you a little bit about what it's like to be an admin on Lamania during these event days. Could be real nice. So, all right, just so you know, folks, I am picking some random messages here in Twitch for as long as Twitch still has its private messaging system, and handing out some turbine points. So, if you get a message from DDO Stream, congratulations on getting us some turbine points. Thank you, Alexandra Rolla. We appreciate all the kind words about it. We too think DDO is the best MMORPG, but then we're a little biased. Oh, okay, nice. Tuchel, nice to see you on the stream there. I think we're probably just going to go with the group we have pretty shortly here, but we'll give it another minute or so for people to join us. Welcome. Thanks for joining us. We have, as far as I know, we do not have an updated gear list for Crystal Cove. One of the things we're looking to do for while Crystal Cove is going on is perhaps find something for some kind of bonus or something for those who are in the higher epic levels where maybe they have outclassed the gear that's currently available in Crystal Cove. Although I'm going to bet that at least with the Swashbuckler coming, with update 22, we're going to see a whole bunch of people rolling up bucklers there from the Crystal Cove event. If you don't have one, now's a good time to get one because I think you're going to be liking it. Yeah, if we go over to Argo, at some point we'll be heading over to Argo, and I've seen the Order of the Emerald Claw just in playing over there. They are a very nice guild, indeed. Let's see. I'm sorry, like I said, I have a bit of a cough. All right, I'm gonna try my best to mute the mic here. So, all right, if you guys are ready to get going, maybe we'll head in there fairly soon.
Ready whenever you are.
How about we run, what do you think, hard? Since we have a couple of sort of quick-rolled characters in that, I don't know if Elite's quite where we want to be right now. Alright. I really like this attack on Stormreach chain. The first part of this, Deception of Stormreach, is actually a free-to-play chain that I think is fairly popular for a lot of folks. This is the paid adventure pack that's sort of the sequel to it.
Atop the hastily built defensive walls, you spy an elf giving orders. That must be Captain Marcus. The sound of pillage echo off the remaining city walls. Unless you stop the Droam army, Summerfield's fate will be shared by every district in Stormreach. Eldritch portals open along the building ledges. Droam has begun their new assault.
I really like the artwork that was done on these guys too. These kind of heavy armor creatures are pretty cool. So this quest starts off with just kind of a portal battle. We're defending the city walls. You know, this quest came about, if I recall correctly, because over the years people have often said, you know, wouldn't it be kind of cool to, say, have to protect the city from an oncoming invasion, or, you know, that sort of thing. And this particular quest is a reaction to that. The idea that, you know, hey, yeah, it would be cool. Let's do that. Now we're doing pretty easy on hard here. Well, of course, we're just getting started. You know, we have heard that feedback to Carbon GUI about well, the Sun Elf Morning Lord basically does get a bump to their intelligence, but that doesn't necessarily mesh all that great with a cleric base. And I don't actually have an answer as to why it was done that way, but it is what it is. Which is part of the reason I was actually, like I say, kind of experimenting around with a rogue build for this. But this particular build is not that that successful build I was hoping for. But I really hadn't planned too deeply into it either.
Pass without portals appearing. While the Droam army commander reformulates his strategy, you have a chance to dispose of enemy forces inside Summerfield's broken walls. This is likely the last working fountain in the Summerfield district.
I actually haven't run this quest in a while. A little bit out of practice on this one. This is a really fun quest, though.
Slain the majority of Droam forces. Droam's rampage through Summerfield knows no bounds.
There's some cool optionals
Nothing
in
is
this
safe
quest
from
too,
the
if you really want
marauding ways.
to dig into it and
Not
find
even
them.
rest shrines. Droam's army has set up forward command posts on this side of Coranu River in preparation of further attacks against the Summerfield district. Rank odors from the Stormreach sewer system waft up from this hatch. You'll have to brave the stench to travel to the other side of the wall.
I guess you could just sort of treat the intelligence boost of the Morning Lord as an extra skill point, which, you know, clerics are always earning for skill points. Not that they have a lot of use for it. I mean, generally you're looking at, you know, jump and spell power, and heal. Those are probably the big three. But, yeah. Yes, widescreen monitors make a huge difference there. But you're right. I think it is largely just due to that's what it is in the lore, the Forgotten Realms book. But oh yeah, we gotta lock down that.
Are we ready to lock the sally port?
Yeah. Sorry about that. Go ahead and lock it if you're ready.
Yeah, sure.
Just as you try engaging the Sallyport lock, Droam flankers pour through the passage. Summerfield's defensive line is breached. The crash of a battering ram erupts from the direction of the southern barricade.
This guy's rad.
Sallyport flankers
Look at
are
that
diverted.
awesome
The true assault is
weapon.
just beginning.
It's very disco friendly. This guy will wipe you out though. Ooh, he can be really harsh with that triple attack. Ooh, I got a dodge. Nice. Particularly on a lead, of
General
course.
Taggart's scream of rage echoes off the city walls as he falls dead. A mournful roar rises from the Droam encampment in response, indicating that with Taggart's death, the siege on Summerfield
Potions of Wonder.
is ended.
Guess we're gonna have to take those right now. Heavy gravity. Yeah, Resistance Sonic. There you go. That's a pretty mild Potion Wonder effect. Yes, absolutely. I will make it a point. Whenever I get Potions of Wonder in the chests here, they're going to have to be consumed. Cool. Let's do Undermine. That's a fun one. Yeah. I try. I've been getting better on my hotbars. You'll notice I only have about 4 active right now. I have, when I'm on my major, like, say, favorite souls and clerics, I'll often have 10 or more just because of all the spells and gear and what have you. But I've been trying to actually be pretty cognizant about the fact that really when it comes down to it, a lot of the stuff that I historically have kept in my hotbars, I never actually really use that much. So, you know, I'll like sit there and then I'll be like, you know, it's actually been like 4 months since I even pressed this button, so do I really need it in my hotbar? And I've been trying to get better about stripping that stuff out and realizing just what I actually use on this particular build in this actual life and all that sort of thing. And paring down my hotbars, and I've been pretty good about getting it down to maybe 4 or 5 hotbars per character. But you know, I know there's a lot of people on who have hotbars just, you know, all over their screen, ringing it around, and there's nothing wrong with that too. Some people like to organize, say, maybe their spells off to one side and their weapons off to another, and what have you. But I myself try to, I just like to see the screen as much as I can. Yeah. Yeah, you think after a while that would kind of get annoying, right? You know? I guess I'll have to toggle it off when I go out to the tavern.
Guard Captain Tullis appears worried.
Although, on the other hand, you know, it's an easy source of cooking. You just kind of sit there and, you know, grab that turkey leg and just sort of bring it close to your body, and next thing you know, you've got cooked a full meal cooked. So. We have someone in this party I suspect who's a very high level. I haven't actually looked at the character levels. I don't worry about that so much when I'm creating up characters here. We have Can't Touch. Yeah, I think it's Can't Touch. That's an epic. Yep, that's about it. It's all good. It's a really fun quest. It's a really cool one. Someday I'm going to, like I say, I've talked about this in the past, but I was doing my Movember donations, and in lieu of a PvP event, one of the people who donated to the Movember campaign for me wanted to run a Undermine, sort of a Zerg run. They called it, I think, like Undermine Races or something like that. And the basic idea is you just zoom, once you get into the tunnel here, you see who can get, basically, get to the end of the quest the fastest, without regard to other people or, you know, helping anyone out along the way. So it's just like a true, just run to the finish on Undermine, and you can actually do pretty well there if you want to. You can, if those who are worried about their XP per minute could do much worse than checking this quest out.
The construction of the tunnel shows it was quickly but professionally built. It must have taken an army of mining engineers to dig this far into the city. Astounded by your presence, an explosives-laden kobold yelps.
Stormreach forces! Blow them up! Blow them up!
It's really when you hear that line that you know that this is the same DM voice who did the Crystal Cove Kobolds, because they did such a nice job on it.
Likely to blow up on his fellow kobolds, but he doesn't seem to care as long as the mines slow you down.
Welcome. We are in the middle of Undermine. Just got started a little bit ago. Yep, Cindy Robbins. The Brethren of the Pink Fluffy Dragon. That's a great, great guild name there. Congrats. Chaos magic. That's kind of what the potion is, right? Potion of Wonder is a little bit of, I mean, not totally, but kind of the same ballpark. Of course, it was put around before we went to Forgotten Realms, but, you know.
That huge explosion blocked. For some reason, the Droam workers abandoned their efforts to dig through this natural. A dead Medusa lies sprawled next to a bin full of demolition charges. Droam must have abandoned this cavern after she met her sudden end. What manner of creature could have resisted the Medusa's stony gaze?
Fire in the hole.
You know, there's a section. Have any of you read Marshela Rockwell's Eberron DDO novels? They're really, really cool. Skein of Shadows and the Shard Axe. And I believe it's in
Fire in the hole.
Skein of Shadows where there's a really cool fight with an Earth Elemental where she brings the idea into a into her book about the Earth Elementals being able to sort of grab you from under the Earth, and it's a really pretty cool section of the book that has a lot of DDO flavor to it. So I always think about that when I think about fighting these Elementals. You know, what a nice job she did, and sort of bringing that aspect of DDO into her books. And if you are a DDO fan and you like reading fantasy novels, you really should be checked those out already. But maybe you haven't heard of them, and you can find they're on all the basic places, you know, Kindles and Nooks and e-readers and all that sort of thing. So pretty cool. Oh yeah, stream. What do you say? The last stream was better than today's stream, Dragons. What do you mean? Is the video quality not what it needs to be? Are you getting some stuttering, hitching up? Feel free to let me know. Oh, I put a bomb in the chest. That's absolutely what I should have done.
This cavern is crammed with supplies. It's a staging area for the Droam army. Sure, Alexander. Nice to have you on the stream here for a little while. I'll see you in the future weeks. Yeah, see, that's the caveat, Dragons, of upping the stream quality, is that unless you have a paid Twitch account, you can't adjust the resolution of the stream as it's being presented to you. So if you don't have a real good high bandwidth, say, in your computer or whatever, then this can be kind of a rough spot. Thought I did fall through. Just didn't visualize for some reason. How unusual. This can actually be a bit of a tricky fight. Not always the easiest. The thick smell of smoke in the air suggests the presence of explosives nearby, as does the charred corpse of an unfortunate ogre.
There's one possible explanation. Could be kobolds like to smoke. Yeah, I should. See, that's the other fun thing about those undermine races is you can actively try to hinder your other opponents by placing crazy depth charges everywhere and just really have some fun with it. It's a good time. Man, this section's tough. My answer to how to do this section is generally just have a real high. Anyone got a jump?
Anybody else need a jump?
There's a big minefield here, basically, for those who are not familiar with this quest. And so you're trying to get all the way through the minefield. And if you don't have a really good jump or, moderate-ish Twitch skills, it's going to be a little bit tricky. Another way that I often see people get through this is invisibility can help. You don't technically need to fight all these dudes. They can kind of get in the way and be a little difficult, but we should have no problem here.
A bridge crosses an underground chasm here. Falling would not be advisable.
Yeah, I would say in general, adventurers in DD are not particularly concerned about falling. We live in a world of featherfall. But this one's particularly bad. I love my rogues in DDL. I think they're some of the most fun classes to play. Doesn't necessarily mean I'm very good at them, but I do like my rogues very much. Do I know the trick on the boulder? I do not know the trick on the boulder. Oh, okay, you mean this one coming up here? Yeah, Blade Barrier. But I don't have Blade Barrier. I could try to Divine Punishment it. Nice. Any plans for boosting up the bards and showing them some love? Yes. We've already talked about some of what's in store there. We have the Swashbuckler PRE coming with Update 22. A few changes, if we can get to them, if not immediately for 22, then very soon around that, for the War Chanter and Spellsinger enhancement lines. I think that's where we're going to be starting with right now. I don't know that we'll have other bard things immediately, but those three things are going to go some ways to hopefully allaying those concerns and improving bards. But it's an ongoing task, as you know.
For further instructions.
Mike, what's my character split? I don't have Blade Barrier yet. It's a really gimped. Like I said, I quick rolled this character in about 8 minutes prior to the start of the show 2 weeks ago. So it's Cleric 9 and Rogue 6. And don't even ask me why. I was just messing around. It was dumb. But whatever. It was fun. Hey, like I said, it doesn't really matter. I'm just kind of having some fun here. Let's see. Wow, that many, huh? Oh, that's interesting. You can use the bombs to blow up the mines, huh? I guess I never really even actually thought about doing that. That's funny. Alright. Now we're gonna do the next quest here, Blockade Buster, which is all the way out, well, would be out in the harbor. It is out in the harbor, but you can get to there from here. You don't have to go all the way through the market and all that sort of thing. This is a really fun quest too. It's from a lore perspective for those who are really into sort of the more lore and RP side of DDO. I think you would really like this quest a lot. There's some really fun stuff going on in it, and you can kind of practice your stealth skills and do that. It's a really difficult quest to sink the Jerwam fleet without raising an alarm. I have not personally been able to do it, but oh. And some people, you know, just get invisibility their way through things, but that's okay. You don't need to do that in this one. Any plans on loot balancing and end-game gears? Yes. You know, loot balance and, you know, making sure we have a robust end-game loot system is pretty much, you know, something that's an always ongoing thing.
Alarms ring through the ship.
Are you talking about
waking
some
the
specific
crew of the
changes that you wanted
Bloodlust.
to see in particular? You know, I know we do have Thunderforged weapons that came out with
The
update
Drowan
21
fleet has
and offer a
gathered
real
here
nice
during this
power
dark
benefit
night,
to
probably
high-end
for
players
mutual
and such.
protection. Such measures might help against a naval attack, but not against you.
But I don't know if that specifically is going to answer your question. I mean, I don't think you'll see a complete rebalance pass in all of our loot throughout DDO, but it's something that we deal with whenever we can to make sure we have the best loot system we can. Okay, where's the thingy? It's not on this side, it's in here. There we go.
Lobo the Bloody, known across 2 continents for his vile ritual
Well,
sacrifices
the rumors
innocent
of basically
lives,
epic
has now
green steel.
fallen to your
In
wrath.
some ways, I think that is... In some ways, that's kind of what we already have. That's what Thunderforged is in some ways. I don't know if that's the rumor that you're hearing about. I mean, we have not announced plans to do, say, like a Epic Veil of Twilight or anything like that. Although, you know, we certainly understand that that's frequently in demand, so it would not surprise me as well if we ever saw that.
The alarm
Did we get
rings
the
out.
crest?
The crew of the
Hey, did we
Carnage will now
get
be
the
ready
thing
to
in this
confront
boat
you.
yet?
I just found it. It was in the galley.
Cool. Yeah, the giant hole
Bloodlust's
quests
crew
are
is
really
awake
great for
down
like
here,
lore and all that sort
growling
of
to
thing
each
too.
other as they
There's a lot
search
of
for
stuff
you.
going on story-wise in that quest chain. It's one of my favorites too.
The hatch to the mine bay looks like it requires some kind of crest to unlock. It's likely secured somewhere else on this ship.
Thanks, Alexander. I appreciate
This
that.
is the Bloodlust's mine
Yeah,
bay,
you know, the
where
story of the
Cobalt
truthful
engineers
one,
tend to be
the giant and dragon
You
war
will
is
need to
very
sneak
much a
or
big part of
fight past them
everyone.
in order to perform your sabotage.
Let's see. I remote. I've got a remote control for the boats here. We'll just take care of it that way.
Okay.
The crew of the Vengeance has been alerted to your presence.
Oh no. When we might get further information about U-22 and/or a preview on Lamania. In terms of more information about Update 22, I had talked a little while back about us working on a developer diary on that, and that's still in the works actually. We, due to some of the content that we're planning to include in the dev diary, it's taking a little bit longer to get sort of through our internal and external approvals processes that we have. But as soon as it's ready to go and everyone's signed off on it being published, we're going to get that one out there. We've got some really cool stuff going on. In terms of when you may see it on Lamania, I actually talked about that a little bit earlier in the stream, but it'll be within the next couple of weeks. Stay tuned on anything more specific than that. Kind of depends on how quickly various builds and things come together and all that. But the goal is to do it within certainly the next couple of weeks. I think you'll see an initial look of Update 22 on Lamania here. I agree on Gwilyn Sand. Everyone knows that's one of my personal favorites, and that's a lot for that very reason, because it's such a diverse quest where everyone can kind of play their role and have a good time.
The Droam Navy wheezes in disbelief as he takes his last breath.
How do you wheeze in disbelief? I don't know if I can do that or should do that. Wheeze? I do have a cold here. I could wheeze pretty good right now, but can I do it disbelieving? What about sagas? Are they coming back? Any plans to have lower level sagas? Sagas help a lot. Yeah, sagas are temporarily disabled right now, and we'll be back with Update 22, so it is going to be a little while before we get sagas back, but we will be getting them back with Update 22.
You can hear the growls and shouts of the
Sorry
crew.
about the delay.
They're
It's
looking for
unavoidable.
the intruders who raised the alarm. They're looking for you. The hatch to the mine bay looks like it requires some kind of crest to unlock.
Anyway,
It's
in terms of a
likely
lower level
somewhere else
saga,
on the ship.
that's a very good question. I know that comes up
From
as
here,
a suggestion
the Vengeance uses a
every now and
complex
then. It
system
would
of
be really
rails and
kind of fun and
pulleys
interesting
to
to do.
deploy the mines engine.
So who knows? Who knows?
Alert
Maybe we'll do it
Kobold
someday.
engineers keep watch over the equipment, even at this late hour.
Let's see, where's our third boat here? Yeah, I think the Necropolis chain would be kind of an easy go-to in regard to sagas, for sure. Be a long saga though, wouldn't it? Necro 1, 2, 3, 4. Litany and Abbot. So if you can sneak your way through this, you'll get an optional chest there. Like I said, I've never seen anyone. I've seen people do it because I've seen a couple of YouTube videos where people were able to to do it, but I myself, no one I know has ever been able to successfully stealth their way through Blockade Buster. Although I guess there is sort of a way you can just sort of do it invisible, but even then you tend to get attention at some point.
Countless raids against the civilized peoples of Corvair came to Zendrik only to die by your hand. A horrid stench permeates this galley. Apparently, it does not bother the Droam.
I mean, I think... I mean, the big challenges, sagas tend to mostly be for... Well, no, that's not true. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, maybe we should have a lower level saga. Yep. It'd be interesting. Like a way to introduce people to the system, perhaps. You know, right on Korthos Island you could have one. And then that would, you know, get people sort of understanding how to use the saga system right away.
The lower decks of the Carnage is abuzz with activity. The entire crew was awakened by the alarm. The hatch to the mine bay looks like it requires some kind of crest to unlock. It's likely secured somewhere else on this ship.
Do we not have the crest? Need to get that right.
Oh, I looked for it. I didn't see it. Thought somebody else wants to grab it.
You know, Tool of Tormented gets a bad rap. Oh. It's really not that hard. I mean, if I can do it, I've been able to do it since that quest came out. And if I can do it, then anyone can do it. I actually really like Tool of the Tormented.
From bays
Once
like
you
this,
do get
the
good at it,
Droam fleet
it's
has
some
deployed
great
enough
XP.
mines to stop all shipping in Stormreach Harbor. If you can get past the Kobold engineers, this panel controls the detonators on all the mines from the Vengeance. Both those already deployed in the water, and those still here in this bay.
Ooh, wind tower bracers. Those are pretty nice. Let's see. Here we go. Yeah, thanks, Cord.
One down, 2 to go. Just one more Droam ship to send to the bottom of the ocean.
Next stream? Well, I'd have to get up there, right? Because I'd have to create a
Even
character for the
deepest
live stream, and I have
slumbering
to do
Droam
Necro 1,
soldier
2,
would have awoken from
and
that
3,
explosion.
you know, before I got
the
to Tool of
mines have been
Tormented.
detonated, and the mine
Theoretically,
layers
I
are
could.
sunk. You have broken the Droam blockade of Stormreach Harbor.
Yeah, really, it's not too bad. It's just a little bit of a trial and error on that third maze in particular. Takes a little time if you just want to go with the brute force method, but it's really not too bad. Oop. Oops. There we go. Fortunately, I don't think I'm going to have time this stream to do the last chain. Although I suppose we could do it fairly quickly. Maybe we could give it a try, huh?
We got this.
Agreed. Having someone who can do the trap for Two of the Tormented makes the quest quite easy and good XP. Absolutely.
You emerge from the tunnel among giant ruins. For some reason, the Droam army has chosen this location for their camp.
There's some really neat optionals in this quest as well. We could like set these tents on fire and do some really neat things for sort of some optional XP. I'd recommend if you're interested in this chain to spend a little time in here and mess around and do some of this stuff.
So this must be the main water supply. It would be a shame.
Yeah, see that flame strike just started the tent on fire there. Yeah. I should make a bard class. You mean make a bard for Livestream? That sounds like a good idea. I have to admit, I've not really played a lot of bards. Last bard I really played of any significant length of time was back in probably 2007. So it's been a little while, but
the rancid
one of the I was in a static group for quite a few years, where one of the members of the party was a by the way. Where one of the members of the party was a bard, and we actually got a lot out of that bard. I know some people feel that maybe bards could use boost in the power department, but played effectively with a small group like that. Man, was that bard good. Very, very nice.
This area serves as a field kitchen. Destroying their provisions may cause soldiers have bunked down in this hallway. Many beds are empty. Are those casualties? Or have they gone out on assignment? That's the biggest barrel of explosives you have ever seen. Careful. The soldiers in the hallway ahead are still asleep. They must be used to loud noises.
Yeah, maybe they're just really drunk. You know, I actually want to do a, I know it's probably an invitation to be dead for about an hour inside of the game, but I would actually like to do a PvP episode of our live stream here, where we go into one of the capture the flag or deathmatch tournaments and actually see what kind of contest we could put together here. Do some kind of thing. See how many times you guys can kill me in an hour, or how many times I could kill you in an hour, or what have you, and see what we could do there. I think it would be a lot of fun, but then I am kind of crazy like that. So.
Who was sacrificed here, and to whom?
You raise a good point. It's very well possible that maybe you had seen a bigger barrel.
These human bones
But
must
they're just
be
going to
a recent
assume,
addition to this
because it's really,
temple.
really big. I'm just reading the chat here quick. Okay. Yeah, some nice chat about bards and that. This is a neat little puzzle. Very nice. Nice work.
A monotone chant echoes from a withered and bent figure stands before you. Surely the hag casts another spell.
You fought well, but I foresee a dead...
The hag grumbles at you.
Took you long enough to get here. Killed enough of my troops, have you?
Oh no. Yeah, I forgot. This happened 2 weeks ago too. I don't actually have any thieves tools in this character. Very nice being a rogue splash without thieves tools. Very smart. What is the new class you were told about? I have not heard of that. Maybe you're thinking about the swashbuckler PRE? That would be really cool. But it's not a class. Cool, thank you. Just about at them. We gotta put those out, so... Okay.
The green hag fades away once more.
So, you've killed every officer who knew about the mission. That'll do just fine. I'll leave you now, but here's one last thing to remember me by. Behold the might of Droam!
I love this. You need to be able to ride rust monsters.
The lights on the floor go out. The portal collapses, cutting off further reinforcements from Droam. Your mission is a success. The few remaining stragglers pose no threat to Zendrik.
Yeah, looks like we might have bugged this one out, huh? Well, that's a bummer. Anyone got D-Door? Go in and get them. No? Well, we might have to call it done then. Yeah. Yeah, that's great. I'm going to write you guys' names down here and get some turbine points your way. I want to get a second. Let me get a pen. Very cool. Alright, well thanks everyone for joining me. I may take a couple more questions here while I can in the chat room. If anyone's got anything, let me know.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yep, have fun. Thanks very much. Is DDO now like what we were playing when the Veil first came out? Not at all, actually. It's quite a bit different from when the Veil of Twilight first came out. Vale was a really good time, and things are going really well here too. There's been a lot of changes over the years, like any kind of long-standing game. So let's see. Yeah, right. I know we didn't kill the officers apparently, huh? How did we manage to do that? I have to go back to the video again. We were moving so quick, we must have just moved past them, huh? Yep. Oh yeah, the Akamai can be removed now from your launcher. That's no problem. All right, let me send out a couple more codes via PM, and then I'll put a couple more, I think, in chat here too before we call it done. And meanwhile, you guys can queue up some questions for me if you want to. Any thoughts on possible new Eberron content? Well, to some extent, we're going to be having some new Eberron content coming with Update 22 here. When we make Three Barrel Cove Epic, you'll be hearing a little bit about some stuff in regard to that fairly soon. Any quality of life issues being addressed in 22? I know there are at least quite a few bug fixes, like there is in every update. I was looking at some of the release notes information just recently, and there's definitely some bug fixes in there. So to that extent, yes, there will be quality of life issues in Update 22. We'll have specifics on that. You can see the release notes when we hit Lamadia. When are you coming to Thelanis? Soon. I'm not sure if we've actually been to Thelanis yet. I need to look through our archive and see what servers we've actually been to. I'm starting to get confused as to which all ones I've been to and which ones I haven't. But we'll go to Thelanis real soon if we haven't already been there. Let's see. All right. Three Barrel Cove raid? No, there will not be a new raid with Update 22. We do have the 2 raids that came with Update 21. Raids will always be working on new raids, in the future, but for Update 22 in particular, no, there will not be a new raid. A Divine Crusader hireling. That's a great idea. I've not heard of any plans to do that, but that sounds like a good idea. So. All right, I think I'm going to wrap up the stream here. Just a quick reminder that if you want to be notified when we are live on the air, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Google+. You can check the forums. We have a thread where we talk about our live streaming there over on DDO.com. And also, if you follow us on Twitch, you'll be notified when we are live on the air. So twitch.tv/DDOstream is the URL for that. And we'll see at the very least next Wednesday here starting at noon Eastern, -4 GMT. One last thing before I go, let me drop some turbine points and codes into the DDO stream chat. First one to grab it gets it. So good luck and have fun. Thanks very much as always for watching, and we really do appreciate you being here. Have fun. We'll see you guys around soon.